This has been all over the news. If you've been following YouTube or Instagram or even Twitter, this has been, or even Reddit, I guess, this has been all across
Yeah, yeah.
forums. We're obviously talking about none other than Stanley.
So I have some data here. Stanley
Uh-huh.
made $750 million last year.
Now that we know, okay, this is the baseline for Stanley, but how do we go from here? How do we grow from here? So we'll be looking at two creators, Shubham. So Laura would be a great choice. And again, just given her brand, I feel, given Laura's brand, which is her DIY, which is so fun and
Yeah,
spunky,
it goes with that, no? That
goes
feeling
with
of having that
goes
huge ass mug. Yeah.
use as smug. Here is where I feel that there is a positive side to Mary Kondo, which is this: the
Yep.
growth and interest, right? Subscribers have been on a healthy chart, and likes have also really gone up.
It's amazing, yeah, for a YouTube channel of any kind to have 82.5% females on it is just amazing. It means it's a tribe, and your brand fits with her vibe, right? It's all about the vibe. I always think that working with influencers is always about vibe.
Absolutely.
Don't have it, don't work with it.
It's a new year. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. And we at Thousand Faces Club have a new show for you. We have a new show for you, and we are calling it Influencer Matchmaking. We thought there's something very interesting going on in the world right now. There are brands and there are creators. Influencers want to work with brands, but brands need to work with creators or influencers. And that's what we're really covering in this format, in this series that we're calling Influencer Matchmaking, where we're going to pick a brand and then we're going to pick two creators and see how these two creators can fit into the brand's ideology. What can some influencer marketing campaigns look like? And of course, we'll be using all of this with InsightIQ, a very powerful tool through which you will get to know about the audience, the sentiment, the likes and dislikes of what the audience is feeling of these creators, and obviously also discuss what the brand wants, right? Where are they in their journey right now, and why are they in their news? But before we discuss our brands, our creators, very special creators, by the way, we have to say hi yet again to our host, Shubham. Shubham, how's it going? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. And matchmaking is something, very, very old, I guess, to
Uh huh.
human race. And at least we have found our match in this, series. We are
We have
partners at the time. So it's like the second season of our partnership. So, yeah.
second season of our partnership, absolutely. And clearly talking about partnership, we have to speak about the partnership of this lovely brand that is really caught the internet by storm, Shubham, right? Let's admit it. Like, this has been all over the news. If you've been following YouTube or Instagram or even Twitter, this has been, or even Reddit, I guess, this has been all
Yeah,
across
yeah.
forums. Mainstream news channels have covered it. We're obviously talking about none other than Stanley, right? So Stanley, of course, is a brand. They've been having a multiple, I would say, forms of virality, right? In terms of, they had a TikTok video that got viral because apparently there was a car, everything got burned down, and only the Stanley bottle remained, right?
Oh,
And only the Stanley,
okay. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
only the quencher remained. And then somebody from Stanley's team actually replied in a vertical video format, so that got a lot of appreciation. And then there was something very unique, Shubham, which was the Stanley Cups, right? So the
Yeah.
quenchers, as they call it, so they're basically big tumblers.
Yeah.
So if I were to have, this is like a,
My God, these
what
things
called,
are big, man.
these things are
Yeah.
huge. These things are huge,
Huge.
super size cups. But Shubham, the rate at which the kids, right? And Stanley was obviously seen as a manly brand. Sorry for the bad rhyming scheme, but it was always seen as a manly brand. But now, of course, they wanted to sort of digress a bit and wanted to approach the female target audience a bit, and that has worked wonders because we see women across ages, by the way, not just, let's say, your young teenage kids, but across ages, really wanting this bottle or this cup or this quencher, whatever you may call it, in various different colors. People have said that, oh, you know what, I want to buy a Stanley Cup according to my mood, according to the colors that I'm wearing. So I think this is fascinating. Very expensive product as well. I think starts at $45, so nowhere is
Yeah.
this cheap for
Very
a
expensive.
bottle. But what do you feel? What do you like? First thoughts around your around the product, Shubham, and then we'll discuss the creators that will go for it.
I love the story, man, because
Yeah,
it's a very old brand,
yeah,
110 years old,
right,
catered to men for almost 100 years,
right.
for rugged outdoors and all. But all of a sudden, TikTok does something to it, right? Influencers on TikTok force it to
Yeah,
change its identity, to turn it into essentially a TikTok brand. There is a section of TikTok called Water Talk. I mean,
right.
TikTok is a very intriguing place where people
Very
drink
intriguing
water and you
place.
watch. Yeah. So, I mean, it shows the power of influencers. So I
Sure,
have
sure.
some data here. Stanley
Uh-huh.
made $750 million last year by
Wow.
selling these mugs, these huge ass mugs, and TikTok has taken over. It's like somebody's holding the hand of their brand manager, saying, "Dude, we got you."
We got you. Yeah, TikTok has really been the savior, right? They've really been the savior in this entire thing. So that's great, Shubham. Thanks for those facts because that really shows the magnitude of the influencer economy, right? How it's not just something that, oh, I think we can do this. It's literally the driver of growth for Stanley, like these influencer. And sure, like you might not even call all the people who've spoken about Stanley as influencers. They've just started out. But the point is that everybody is showing the influence and people are getting influenced on social media to use the Stanley Cups at home, at school, at
Yeah,
college, everywhere. Right. So, Shubham, the format here for influencer matchmaking is that we're gonna, now that we know, okay, this is the baseline for Stanley, but how do we go from here? How do we grow from here? TikTok has been a great success, but what about long form videos? How do you sort of analyze that? How do you put that? So we'll be looking at two creators, Shubham, right?
yeah,
Very interesting creators. One also has our own Netflix show, which is great, and one is like really loved and adored across the world as well. Millions of
yeah,
followers and subscribers. We have, of course, Mary Kondo and we have Lore DIY. So both these creators will be sort of, I wouldn't even say up against each other, but we'll be seeing how we can, use them. If we
yeah,
were brand managers sitting in the Stanley team right now, so imagine this is the Stanley headquarters, right? Shubham and I are there, and we're like, oh, you know what? We have so much money, and we have so much marketing budgets, and we have to, of course, work with influencers, right? This is something we
yeah.
spoke at the
I
beginning of the episode.
I would have worked with Laura, man. I'm,
Yeah,
crushing so majorly right now on her. I just love her work and
yeah,
everything about her. So
yeah.
yeah, let's start and let's do the matchmaking thing between a brand and couple of creators,
Awesome, awesome. So let's
influencers.
start with let's start with Laura itself then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So we have Laura DIY or Laura, right? We're on Inside IQ, folks. So please, if you haven't checked out Inside IQ, we always keep speaking about Inside IQ because it is a really powerful tool, and you should really download it with the link in the description. Shubham, first things first, 8.32 million subscribers. Nowhere
man.
is this a small number. This is huge, right?
Yep.
34K average views per video, 1.9K likes. DIY girl plus bully mom into two, which is basically mean that she has two kids.
Or maybe
So
two dogs.
or two dogs. I mean, hey,
Yeah,
who are we to,
yeah,
comment anything? But I think the feeling that I get from her, content is again that she's this very she's somebody, her personality is such who doesn't shy away from what's on her mind or what's on her
yeah,
mouth, right? She wants to DIY by nature, right? Which is, of course, do it yourself. I think that really embodies what Stanley's going through right now, because of course there used to be this brand which was very, oh, we're going to be prim and proper, but now they've really gone into the whole DIY spectrum, which is okay. You can
yeah.
carry it for this, you can carry it for that. So I really love her that way. The if you speak about the likes and the subscribers, there has been a decline, right? There has been a monthly decline in terms of
Yeah.
the total subscribers and the likes as well. But I think what my biggest takeaway from her is this, Shubham, right? Which is the gender distribution and also the
Mhm.
location, right? So of course Stanley
Oh,
is a
wow.
company based in the US, and look
That's
at this.
amazing. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
87% females. That's unheard of, man.
Unheard of, right? So if
Yeah.
let's say we're at Stanley and if we want to sort of target our brand, which is Stanley, the quenchers, right? So one particular product line, which is the Stanley quenchers, I
Yeah.
would definitely want to work with Laura and be like, hey, you know what? You have a great bunch of females, 90% almost, who subscribe to your
Yeah.
channel. So it's a great way to sort of segregate that, right? Because immediately you are talking to a core, right? So if you're speaking to somebody with a 50-50 audience, might not necessarily work. But a 90%, I think that's a pretty strong number with the kid attached to it.
Yeah, yeah, and absolutely. And women are almost always the first, early adapters of any,
Absolutely.
product like Stanley's mugs.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
I mean, if you have anything, which is colorful, which is, new generation is really looking forward to collect, it's sort of become an accessory, right? Accessory. So, I think if you have more followers, female followers, then you should definitely go for somebody like Laura. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely going for Laura. And Look at this. Another way, another reason why you would definitely want to go for Laura, Shubham, is the age demographics, right?
Oh,
So,
nice.
uh,
64.
64% for 18 to 24, which basically implies that, hey, we have a great. So you can almost think about it that there's a teenage girl somewhere in the US who's watching her videos, really enjoying her DIY stuff and just a life story. And when they're
Yeah.
in their, let's say in their college years, which is obviously 18 to 24, when they get their first jobs, which is when, Shubham, if you think about it, is when they get their
Yes.
first paychecks, right? When they become independent, financially independent, when they start going out, on a bunch of things, and they have their own lifestyle. And I think it just fits, right? I
Yeah,
think it
and you know
just fits.
what's really more interesting is that the second biggest group is of teenage girls or teenage
Yeah,
people.
correct,
This is
correct, correct.
astonishing because 25 to 34 is on the third position, right?
Right,
And there is nothing
15%.
else beyond that. So it's clearly, a match made in heaven, let's say.
It is a match made in heaven, right? So I really feel that Laura is the first choice here as well. Although, of course, we can say that her subscriber growth and her likes growth have been following.
Yeah.
Engagement is not too high, but we have certainly a lot of things going on to her. So Laura would be a great choice. And again, just given her brand, I feel, given Laura's brand, which is her DIY, which is so fun and
Yeah.
spunky,
It goes with that, no? That
goes
feeling
with
of having that
goes
huge ass mug. Yeah.
huge as mug. I think it just goes with her personality. But I also have another creator, Shubham, that I really want to speak about, right? And this
Yeah.
creator is actually, if you think about it, she speaks about tidiness, about decluttering your environment. So it almost works as a anti-marketing campaign that if Mary Kondo, right, this is the creator, this is
Hmm.
the second creator, that if Mary Kondo is speaking about your product, then damn, it's really of value, right? Like if somebody who's about anti everything ki, okay, you shouldn't have to buy so
Yeah.
many things, and if she is buying a Stanley Cup, a Stanley quencher, she's doing a video on it with her very calm voice and with her just demeanor. I think it's going to be I think that can also be an interesting match and slightly counterintuitive. So how about I actually bring on
Yeah.
stage or bring to this video uh, the profile of Mary Kondo. So let me share my screen again.
I actually, imagined Mary Kondo talking about the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
Maybe a blue colored, a very simple classic like Mary Kondo, and she's having a
correct.
sip. I actually imagined it
You
somehow.
did. Right. I think that's so cool, right? Because the fact that you can imagine it is so cool, because then brands, when people see the brand integration, it doesn't seem jarring, right? Sometimes you
Oh
feel like,
yeah,
oh,
that's a
why
good
is
point.
it so like but the fact that you can already imagine it without there being Mary Kondo on working at Stanley, I think that speaks
Yeah.
volumes. The goal of the Mary Kondo channel is to help more people tidy their spaces by choosing joy, right? So if people choose, let's say, a Stanley Cup, they're also in a way choosing joy,
Yeah,
because they don't have to do with multiple bottles. It's just one bottle.
that's a good campaign line. Choose your joy, right?
Choose your joy, right?
Yeah.
Stanley Cups, and you're just one bottle which does it all, right? So
Yeah.
perhaps not multiple colors, perhaps the blue color is fine, but I
Yeah.
think it really works. Looking at subscribers, Shubham, like of course way lesser than Laura
Yeah.
DIY. We have to agree to that, but the fact still remains that she has her own Netflix show, so her love is
Yeah.
quite there.
It's beyond social media.
740, yeah, beyond social
Yeah.
media, absolutely. She's almost become like a meme, in fact. And at this point, and she obviously has a lot of videos around her as well. So 748K subscribers. So again, it puts her in a different category than Laura. Laura's obviously above a million, above 5 million, actually closer to the 10 million category.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And Mary Kondo, on the other hand, is in the sub 1 million category, but close to a million as well. Engagement rates, average views per video. So again, right, like just look at this entire line, which is the most popular videos, which is about
Yeah.
the KonMari fold, right? A very popular video, which he had 108,000 likes, right? So I think this is something that she really sort of speaks about, which is this basic lifestyle. So again, not the blingy cups here, Shubham. We can't have those purple glitzy cups of Stanley,
Yeah.
but something like a nice blue color or this olive green. I think
Yeah.
that's the vibe.
And it goes along with this, right? It goes along with a very efficient lifestyle, right? You have a
Correct.
very big cup, it has a sipper on it. You can be on the move, you can be, super organized, and you can have that
Super
mug
organized.
with you, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think that's why I see a synergy, and also Shubham, here is where I feel that there is a positive side to Marie Kondo, although she doesn't have the subscribers like Laura DIY does. which is this: the
Yep.
growth and interest. Right, subscribers have been
Yeah.
on a healthy chart. Right, they have
Right.
almost touched 750K. Subscribers from
Yeah. She's on the way.
from
Yeah.
September, and likes have also really gone down, really gone up. Compare
Yep.
that to Laura DIY, things were a bit different, right? So things were a bit different there, and I really feel that this has been very very interesting to see how Marie Kondo's content and her videos in general have been doing. So I think that is great. And hey, we cannot not talk about the gen
Amazing.
the yeah. What do you feel about this, Shubham? 82.5%.
It's amazing, yeah. I mean, for a YouTube channel of any kind to have 82.5% females on it is just amazing. It means it's a tribe, it's a community
Yeah,
where people are closely following the person influencer, and see that demography, like audience location as well. United States, Indonesia, Philippines. So very global brand, right?
global brand,
So
absolutely.
if you want to enter, the minds of any kind of people, let's say on this planet Earth, Mary Kondo is right there, and your brand fits with her vibe, right? It's all about the vibe. I always think that working with influencers is always about vibe.
Absolutely,
Don't
agree.
have it, then don't work. Don't work with them.
Don't work with them, for sure, for sure. I think that's a really really great point, Shubham, that you mentioned, because again, comparing that and calling back Laura again, I think her US stats were like close to 50%, but
Yeah,
here we have
much
22%
diverse.
US,
Yeah,
Indonesia. So of course, if Stanley wants to go heavily into the US, perhaps Laura's a better option. But again, Indonesia, Philippines, a bit of the UK, Brazil. I don't know where India is okay, India is like way way back far, but that's okay. But right, we have Canada, we have Australia,
Spain,
obviously,
every place is there. Yeah,
right? So these are great markets. So I think that's a really good point about global expansion. And let's talk about this, right? Clearly, again, a marked difference here as well, which is the
yeah,
age of the audience, right? So the audience demographics essentially
right.
is this. You still have Shubham, what we had compared, I think it was close to more than 60% for the 18 to 24 range. But here, slightly older people, right? They've
Yeah,
earned more money. They're not just kids anymore,
correct.
right? They're
They're
not
not
just in their
teenagers.
first jobs. They're not
Yeah,
teenagers, right? The bandwagon of the teenagers has been forgotten. Now we're into slightly more mature people, perhaps 25 to
yeah,
35, 34. you know these women are looking to get settled, right? Perhaps they're going to have their
yeah.
first child in this stage. So if as a Stanley brand manager, if you're sitting in the team, you're like, hey, you know what, I don't want to go for those young teenagers who perhaps won't buy my brand, because let's say
Yeah.
they're not most affluent class, but clearly people in the 25 to 34 range in the US, they can afford a Stanley Cup which is going to last them for a long time. So I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a good bet for them to go for Mary Konto in this case.
I think it's good to have options. So if
Yeah.
you're running multiple campaigns in multiple different, let's say, locations, you can choose, a creator like Laura or Mary, depending on your requirements. So if you're a brand manager, your life is easy, right?
Yeah,
Your targets are granular now, and you can
absolutely.
hit them accordingly.
Absolutely. And I think, speaking about these granular targets, Shubham, it really helps that you have a tool like Inside IQ, because, we could very easily, just at a glance, right? We just took up Stanley and we just saw that, okay, hey, you know what? This is Laura's great for this, Mary's great for this.
Yeah,
So having a tool like this or having a tool like Phyllo as well, it just makes your journey of influencer marketing that much easier, right? Because then you're not talking about, oh, how do I approach this? How should I look at this? Because you actually have hard data and hard facts right in front
to
of you
back your, yeah, correct.
to back your
Yeah,
decisions, right?
yeah,
To back your decisions. To If you are a brand manager, you have to pitch to your head of marketing, right? Ki, hey, you know what? I think Mary Kondo is the person. They're like, why? I have Inside IQ. So I think
yeah,
that for me is a great way of how to approach things. And clearly, the Stanley story has just started, in my opinion. And of
yeah,
course, my final takeaway here, Shubham, is that Stanley as a brand has done a lot of short form. That, oh, TikTok, they've achieved a lot of
yeah,
success there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
having creators like Mary Kondo or a Laura DIY, it really helps them also go for the long form, right? For example, if imagine Laura's just doing a video where she has that sipper, or she has that
Yeah.
cup, she's just speaking, or Mary, she's arranging something and she's keeping her sipper like that. So it's part of the larger conversation here. So I think it really really works with these two.
Yeah, I think you have summed it up really well. I'll just throw another stat at the
Yeah.
end of this.
Right.
TikTok videos of Stanley Cups,
Yeah.
you know, they've been viewed over 201.4 million times
Okay,
so
that is
far.
huge.
Okay.
That is huge.
So any brand manager who's listening to it, you have to lap up the opportunity of working with influencers, because
Absolutely.
this is like amazing. It's like wildfire.
It
So
is.
it's Stanley's moment, let's say,
It's Stanley's
right?
moment.
And they
Absolutely.
need to go out and make sure that they capitalize on it. They find the right influencers for their right campaigns, but they must work with influencers. As you said at the
Absolutely.
beginning, the brands have to work with influencers. There's no two ways about it. Otherwise they'll
Absolutely.
just arm twist you, right? Just like TikTok has done with this Stanley. They
Yeah.
essentially hijack the brand, like it's no longer for men, it's for women now.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. So you can really take that direction as to where you want it to go, and I really find that interesting how they're approaching it. And hopefully, we might see a campaign with Americondo or LaurDIY. But that's been it for the very first episode of this new series. I had a lot of fun doing this, where we spoke about Stanley the brand to creators, our thoughts, why one creator works for them, why the other doesn't, and vice versa as well. Let us know your thoughts. If you were at Stanley, who would you like to suggest as a creator? Or within these creators, what would you like to do as a content series? Do you see a match? Let us know in the comments below. And please, please subscribe to the YouTube channel of Thousand Faces Club. We have more than 13,000 subscribers. You can be one of them, and you can have weekly updates and weekly notifications of the videos that we're dropping. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. I'm Shreevar.
I'm Shubham.
All right. Bye bye.